The Deep Space Monitoring Station on Earth's moon was quiet that night. Most of the staff had already left for their quarters, leaving only 2 people in the main control room. Lieutenant Tom Reed yawned as he stared at the screens showing signals from across the solar system. His job at Global Space Command was mostly routine. Check the automated systems, log any unusual readings, and prepare reports for the morning shift. Another quiet night, he muttered, sipping his coffee. The computer terminal in front of him suddenly beeped. Tom straightened in his chair, setting down his mug. A new signal had appeared on the tracking system, originating from beyond Neptune's orbit. "Hey, Kate, are we expecting any transmissions from the outer system probes tonight?" Tom called to his colleague. Kate walked over, her forehead creasing as she looked at the screen. "Nothing scheduled." "What are you seeing?" "This pattern doesn't match any of our standard protocols." Tom tapped a few keys, enhancing the signal. "It's repeating every 12 minutes. Too regular to be natural interference." "Could be equipment malfunction," Kate suggested, but she didn't sound convinced. Tom shook his head. 3 different receivers are picking it up. Whatever this is, it's real. They spent the next hour trying to analyze the signal, but the pattern didn't match anything in their database. By morning, Tom had alerted his superiors, and within hours, the top scientists from Global Space Command had gathered to study the mysterious transmission. Dr. James Wilson, the lead communications expert, worked day and night with his team. "The signal contains mathematical sequences," he announced on the second day. "No random noise could produce these patterns. This is a deliberate message." On the third day, they had their breakthrough. Dr. Wilson burst into the command center, waving a tablet excitedly. "We've decoded it. It's a distress call." The room fell silent as he played the translated message. "To any intelligent species receiving this transmission, we are the fleet of 16 vessels from the Stellar Coalition. We are stranded in your solar system with failing life support systems. Our remaining power reserves will sustain us for 31 more rotations. We request emergency assistance. We come in peace." Within hours, the news spread to government leaders worldwide. Earth had never received confirmation of intelligent alien life before, let alone a plea for help. Emergency meetings were called across the globe. "How do we know this isn't some kind of trap?" asked General Roberts during the first International Security Council. "The signal includes technical data about their ships and life support systems," Dr. Wilson explained. "Everything matches with real physics. They've even shared their location and vessel schematics. If they wanted to harm us, why provide all this information?" "What exactly do they need?" asked the UN Secretary. "Their main power systems are failing. From what we can tell, they encountered some kind of anomaly at the edge of our solar system that damaged their technology. They need repairs they can't perform themselves." President Chen stood up. "If we ignore this call, 16 ships full of living beings will die in our solar system. What would that say about humanity?" After 2 days of debate, Earth made its decision. They would respond to the aliens and offer help. Tom Reed was present when they sent humanity's first official message to another intelligent species. As the signal beamed out toward the distant ships, he felt a mix of fear and wonder. "Message transmitted," the communications officer announced. Now all they could do was wait for a response, knowing that the fate of an entire alien fleet, and possibly the future of human-alien relations, hung in the balance. The reply from the alien fleet came faster than anyone expected. Just 7 hours after Earth's message was sent, the communications array at Global Space Command lit up with new data. "They're sending us detailed schematics of their ships," Dr. Wilson said, his eyes wide as he scrolled through the incoming information, "and biological data about their species. They really are desperate. The aliens called themselves the Talari. According to their data, they needed help repairing complex drive systems that human technology had never encountered before. Most concerning was their timeline. Their life support systems would begin to fail in less than a month." President Chen called an emergency meeting with the world's top space agencies. We need our best people on this mission. Who do we send? The answer came from Admiral Brooks at NASA, Captain Lisa Morgan. If anyone can figure out alien technology on the fly, it's her. Captain Morgan was testing new engine designs at the International Space Station when the call came through. At 42, she had already established herself as one of Earth's most gifted engineers and problem solvers. Her experience in the Mars colony crisis 3 years earlier, where she had improvised life-saving repairs with limited resources, made her the perfect candidate. You want me to fix ships we've never seen before, for aliens we've never met? Lisa asked during the briefing. I'll need a team. She handpicked her crew within hours. Alex Davis, a linguist who had helped decode the alien message. Marcus Johnson, a medical officer with expertise in extreme environments. Jen Park, a theoretical physicist. And Raj Patel, a systems engineer who could make nearly anything work with whatever parts were available. We'll need a ship, Lisa told Admiral Brooks. Something fast. The only vessel that could reach the Talari fleet in time was the Horizon, an experimental spacecraft equipped with the latest fusion drive. It had never been tested on a long-range mission, but there was no alternative. The team had just 14 days to prepare. While engineers readied the Horizon, Lisa and her crew studied the Talari data day and night. Their biology is silicon-based, Marcus explained during one briefing. They breathe a mixture of gases that would be toxic to us. We'll need specialized suits for any face-to-face contact. Their language uses mathematical concepts as a foundation, Alex added. I've programmed a basic translation system, but complex ideas will be challenging. Jen pointed to holographic diagrams floating above the table. Their propulsion system manipulates space-time in ways we've only theorized about. It's decades beyond our technology. But the principles are still based on physics, Raj said, studying the engine schematics. Different application, same universe. We can figure this out. As launch day approached, the weight of their mission became clear. This wouldn't just be humanity's first contact with aliens. They would be trying to save thousands of alien lives. The night before departure, Lisa couldn't sleep. She stood by the window of her quarters, looking at the stars. Captain. It was Alex, also unable to rest. Do you think we can do this? Lisa considered the question carefully. The Talari technology is advanced, but from what I've seen in their communications, they think very systematically. They follow rules and protocols precisely. That's why they're stuck. Their situation falls outside their standard procedures. And that's where we come in. Lisa nodded. Humans are adaptable. We improvise. We break rules when necessary. We think outside conventional boundaries. That might be exactly what they need right now. At dawn, the team boarded the Horizon. The launch pad was surrounded by government officials, scientists, and media crews from around the world. As the countdown began, Lisa felt a strange calm settle over her. This was humanity's moment, not just to meet another intelligent species, but to save them. The engines roared to life, and the Horizon lifted off toward the stars, carrying Earth's best hope to help strangers from beyond. The Horizon cut through the darkness of space, pushing its experimental engines harder than they had ever been tested. After passing Mars orbit, Lisa ordered the activation of the new fusion drive that would give them the speed needed to reach the Talari fleet in time. Engine temperature stable, Raj reported from his station. We're now traveling at 30% of maximum power. Lisa looked at the flight path on her screen. Take us to 40%. We can't afford any delays. The ship hummed and vibrated as it accelerated. Through the main viewport, the stars seemed to stretch slightly, not the dramatic streaking effect shown in old science fiction movies, but a subtle distortion as the Horizon pushed the boundaries of human technology. On the third day of their journey, a new message arrived from the Talari. Alex worked quickly to translate it. They're sending us more information about their situation, he said, eyes fixed on his screen. According to this, they were traveling through our solar system, when they encountered what they call a gravitational anomaly near the Kuiper belt. It damaged their propulsion systems and threw them off course. Why were they passing through our system in the first place? Lisa asked. Alex continued reading. They say they were on a long-range scientific mission, studying star systems for potential. I think the closest translation is communication suitability. They've been observing Earth for some time. The crew exchanged looks. Jen spoke first. They've been watching us. Apparently, Alex said. The message says they've been collecting our broadcasts for years, but never made contact. Their protocols forbid interfering with developing civilizations unless absolutely necessary. Well, I guess system failure counts as necessary, Marcus commented dryly. That evening, Lisa called her team together in the small common area. Floating in zero gravity, they shared a meal of rehydrated pasta while discussing what they knew about the aliens they were rushing to save. From the biological data, they appear humanoid, but with significant differences. Marcus explained, displaying a hologram of a Talari, about 7 feet tall, 4 arms, skin that looks almost metallic. Their respiratory system requires a higher concentration of nitrogen than we breathe. Raj studied the hologram. What about their technology? Will we be able to work with their tools? Their tools are designed for hands with 6 digits, Jen said. But they've sent instructions for creating adapters. They're clearly trying to make this easier for us. As days passed, the horizon pushed deeper into the outer solar system. The crew settled into a routine of studying Talari technology, running ship diagnostics, and sending regular updates back to Earth. Each day brought more detailed communications from the stranded fleet. On the 10th day, Alex received a message that made him pause. Captain, you should see this. Lisa floated over to his station. The message contained not technical information, but something more personal, a statement from the Talari fleet commander. We have observed humans from afar and noted your species' capacity for both great violence and great compassion. Some among our crew feared contacting you, believing your unpredictable nature might pose a threat. I overruled these concerns. Our readings of your communications reveal a species still finding its way, but one with remarkable adaptability and resilience. These qualities we lack. Where we see only established methods, you see possibilities. We now place our trust in this human trait. Our lives depend on your ability to see solutions where we cannot. Lisa read the message twice. They're afraid of us, but they need what makes us different. It's a huge risk for them, Jen said, reaching out to a species they've never contacted before. A calculated risk, Lisa replied. They've watched us enough to know we might help. As they entered the 20th day of travel, long-range scanners finally detected the Talari fleet. 16 massive vessels clustered together, their once gleaming hulls now dark except for emergency lighting. According to the latest transmissions, half the fleet was running on backup systems, with primary life support failing in 3 ships. 10 hours to intercept, the navigation officer announced. Lisa gazed at the distant ships growing larger on the screen. Prepare for approach protocols. It's time to meet our new friends. The horizon slowed as it approached the Talari fleet. Through the viewport, the human crew stared in amazement at the alien vessels. Each ship was at least 3 times the size of Earth's largest space station, with curved, elegant designs that seemed to flow like liquid metal. They're beautiful, Jen whispered. Unlike the sleek exterior, the lighting on the ships was dim and uneven. Several vessels showed no external lights at all, confirming the power failures the Talari had reported. Opening communications channel, Alex announced, broadcasting on the frequency they provided. Lisa straightened her uniform and faced the main screen. This is Captain Lisa Morgan of the Earth vessel Horizon. We've come to assist as requested. The screen flickered, and for the first time, humans saw a living Talari. The alien had silvery blue skin that seemed to shimmer slightly. 4 long arms were folded across its chest in what the humans would later learn was a gesture of respect. Its face was vaguely humanoid, but with large, dark eyes that took up much of its head. "Captain Morgan, I am First Navigator Ilum, commander of this fleet. Your arrival brings great relief to my people." The translation system worked well, though there was a slight delay between the alien's mouth movements and the English words. "We've studied your technical data," Lisa replied. "We're prepared to assist with repairs. Request permission to dock with your command vessel." "Permission granted. We are sending docking coordinates now." The next 3 hours were tense as Raj guided the Horizon to the docking port of the largest Teleri ship. The human vessel seemed tiny next to the alien craft, like a lifeboat approaching an ocean liner. "Docking seals engage," Raj finally announced. "Air pressure stable." Before the humans could leave their ship, Elam sent another message. "Our atmosphere will be toxic to you. We have prepared a transition chamber with your breathable air mix. Your environmental suits should still be worn as a precaution." The crew donned their suits and gathered at the airlock. Lisa looked at each team member. "Remember, we're here to help them, but also to represent humanity. This is first contact. Let's make a good impression." The airlock cycled, and they entered a large chamber with transparent walls. Beyond the glass, a group of Teleri waited, their metallic skin gleaming under emergency lighting. The humans moved forward slowly, conscious of how they might appear to the aliens. When they reached the central chamber, Elam stepped forward, all 4 arms extended in greeting. "Welcome aboard the Stellar Voyager," the alien said. "You have traveled far to assist strangers. This speaks well of your species." Lisa nodded. "We wouldn't ignore a call for help, regardless of who sent it." Elam led them through corridors where emergency lighting cast long shadows. Other Teleri they passed stopped to stare at the humans, their expressions unreadable to human eyes. "Most of our crew remains in suspended animation," Elam explained. "Only essential personnel were awakened when our crisis began. Now, even they may need to enter suspension if we cannot restore power." The command center of the ship was vast, with curved control panels and holographic displays showing the status of all 16 vessels. Most of the indicators glowed red or amber. "3 ships have already lost main power," Elam said, pointing to a display. "We've transferred emergency power, but it will only last another 12 days." "What caused the system failures?" Lisa asked. A different Teleri stepped forward. "I am Chief Engineer Toran. We encountered what you might call a spatial distortion. Our sensors detected it too late to alter course. The distortion affected our quantum core drives in ways we cannot repair using standard protocols." Lisa noticed something in the alien's voice, frustration, perhaps even embarrassment. "Your technology is far more advanced than ours," she said carefully. "Why can't you fix it yourselves?" Elam and Turan exchanged looks. "Our technology is designed for efficiency and preset functions," Elam explained. "Our engineers are taught to follow specific procedures for known problems. This situation falls outside all known parameters. We observe the humans often solve problems through unconventional methods." Torin added, "You adapt and improvise in ways our culture does not easily permit." Lisa began to understand. The Teleri weren't just technologically stuck. They were culturally constrained by rigid thinking. "Show us your engine rooms," Lisa said. "Let's see what we're working with." As they moved deeper into the ship, Marcus whispered to Lisa, "They're simultaneously more advanced and more limited than us." Lisa nodded. "And that's exactly why they need human help." The engine room of the Stellar Voyager stretched before them like a cathedral of technology. Towers of crystalline material pulsed with fading light, connected by networks of what looked like liquid metal pipes. The human team stood in silence, taking in the sight. "This is the quantum core drive," Torin explained, leading them to a central structure. "It manipulates the fabric of space-time to propel our vessels." Lisa approached the core, studying the damaged sections. Parts of the crystalline structure had turned dark, with fracture lines spreading through the material. "What happens if we try to power it up?" she asked. The damaged sections create feedback loops in the quantum field, Torrent said. This causes cascade failures throughout the system. We have tried 47 different repair protocols. All have failed. Raj knelt beside an open panel, examining the connections. Your repair protocols are all software-based, aren't they? You haven't physically altered any components. The alien engineer's head tilted slightly. Physical manipulation of quantum cores is not in our standard procedures. The risk of catastrophic failure is too high. Lisa and Raj exchanged glances. There it was again, the Talari reluctance to step outside established methods. I need to see the damage to the other ships, Lisa said. And we'll need to check your supply inventories. What materials do you have that we could work with? Ilum seemed confused. You intend to physically rebuild the cores. We need to explore all options, Lisa replied carefully. Sometimes the solution isn't in the manual. Over the next few hours, the human team split up to assess the damage across the fleet. They returned to the command center to share their findings. The good news is the damage follows a pattern, Jen explained, displaying a holographic model. The spatial distortion affected all ships in nearly identical ways. If we can fix one ship, we can fix them all. The bad news, Raj added, is that the quantum cores need significant physical repairs. We'll need to reconfigure some components and possibly create new ones from available materials. Torrent's expression showed clear alarm. Creating new quantum core components is forbidden without proper fabrication facilities. The protocols specifically warn. Your protocols won't save your fleet, Lisa interrupted, more firmly than she intended. She softened her tone. Sometimes we need to work with what we have, not what the rules say we should have. The Teleri engineers looked at each other, their discomfort obvious. Lisa realized she needed to help them understand the human approach. Think of it this way, she said. Your technology is like a perfect mathematical equation. Elegant, precise, advanced. But right now, that equation has variables you can't solve using your normal methods. Humans might not have your advanced knowledge, but we're good at finding creative ways to balance equations when the traditional approach fails. Elam considered this. How would you proceed? Lisa outlined her plan. They would modify the least damaged ship first, using parts salvaged from the horizon and materials from the Teleri stores. If successful, they would use that ship's functioning systems to help repair the others. It will require all of us working together, she explained. Your knowledge of the systems combined with our willingness to try unconventional solutions. And if it fails? Asked another Teleri. Then we try something else, Lisa said simply. That's how humans solve problems. After a long silence, Elam spoke. Your approach contains significant risk, Captain Morgan. But our current path leads to certain failure. The alien commander turned to address the Teleri engineers. We will assist the humans in their methods. As the meeting ended, Elam pulled Lisa aside. There is something you should know, Captain. Our fleet is not merely on a scientific mission, as we initially informed you. Lisa waited as the alien seemed to struggle with the decision to share more information. We are refugees, Elam finally said. Our home system was involved in a conflict. These 16 ships carry not just crew, but the last survivors of our colony world. Over 50,000 Teleri remain in suspension, unaware that their future now rests in human hands. Lisa felt the weight of this revelation. This wasn't just a rescue mission anymore. It was about saving an entire displaced civilization. We'll get your people home, she promised, wherever that might be now. Work began immediately. Lisa divided her team across the fleet, with each human paired with several Teleri engineers. The first task was to repair the lead ship's quantum core enough to provide emergency power to the others. This connection needs to be rerouted, Raj explained to a group of Teleri engineers on the third vessel. He sketched a diagram on his tablet. Your standard configuration won't work with the damaged crystals, but if we bypass this section and create a new pathway here. Such a modification violates safety parameters, One Teleri objected. Yes, but it will work, Raj insisted. Sometimes you have to break the rules to fix the problem. Similar conversations happened across the fleet as humans introduced the concept of improvisation to the methodical aliens. At first, the Talari were reluctant, but as small successes accumulated, they began to adapt. On the 5th day of repairs, disaster struck. The nearby star, which had been relatively quiet, suddenly released a massive solar flare. Alarms blared throughout the fleet. Radiation surge approaching. A Talari officer announced in the command center. Impact in 20 minutes. Elam turned to Lisa. Our radiation shielding is compromised due to power limitations. This level of radiation could damage our suspension pods and kill thousands. Lisa's mind raced. What if we create a makeshift shield using your communication arrays? If we reconfigure them to generate an electromagnetic field? Impossible. Torin interrupted. The arrays are not designed for such use. But they could work that way, Lisa insisted. Raj and Marcus were reinforcing communication systems on Ship 6. They can modify the arrays in time. With no better options, Elam agreed. Lisa contacted Raj and Marcus, quickly explaining the situation. We'll need parts from the horizon, Marcus said over the comm. The focusing elements from our main communication system. That would leave us unable to contact Earth, Lisa replied. It's either that or let these people die, Marcus answered. The decision was made in seconds. A team rushed to the horizon to salvage the needed components. Raj and Marcus worked frantically, directing Talari engineers to modify the massive communication arrays that extended from Ship 6. Radiation wave in 5 minutes, came the warning. Sweat dripped down Raj's face inside his helmet as he connected the final circuits. Power it up. Now. The makeshift shield generator hummed to life. A shimmering field extended outward from the array, growing to envelop the clustered fleet. Radiation wave in 30 seconds. Marcus monitored the readings on his tablet. The field is holding, but there's a power fluctuation in Section 3. Before anyone could respond, a warning light flashed. A coolant line had ruptured near the generator, spraying toxic fluid into the compartment where 3 Talari engineers were working. Lisa, who was supervising from a nearby section, saw the alert. Without hesitation, she sealed her suit and rushed toward the danger zone. The Talari engineers were collapsing as the coolant filled their chamber. I need emergency teams to Section 3, she shouted into her comm as she forced the door open. The toxic coolant swirled around her suit as she dragged the first Talari to safety. Then she returned for the second, and finally the third. Her suit sensors were flashing warnings about integrity breaches by the time she pulled the last alien to safety. Radiation impact in 10 seconds. Everyone held their breath. The wave hit. The makeshift shield flickered but held, dispersing the deadly radiation around the fleet rather than through it. When the danger passed, medical teams rushed to treat the injured Talari. Lisa's suit had suffered several small breaches, exposing her to trace amounts of the toxic coolant. Marcus administered treatment while she insisted she was fine. Later, as Lisa recovered in the medical bay, Elam came to see her. You risked your life for my engineers, the alien commander said. Why? Lisa looked confused by the question. They needed help. You had no obligation to endanger yourself. Elam persisted. They were not your people. That doesn't matter, Lisa replied simply. When someone needs saving, you save them. That's what humans do. Elam was silent for a moment. We have observed humans for decades, noting your conflicts and divisions. Yet when faced with strangers from another world, you showed no hesitation to risk yourselves. This is unexpected. The Talari commander placed a hand gently on Lisa's shoulder. Because of you, the repairs are proceeding faster than anticipated. The first 2 ships now have partial power restored to their cores. Your team's improvisation is proving effective. After Elam left, Raj entered with good news. The shield worked perfectly, and we figured out how to replicate the repairs across all remaining ships. We're going to make it, Captain. Lisa smiled, wincing slightly from her injuries. Never doubted it for a minute. 2 weeks after the Horizon had first docked with the Tal'Uri fleet, the final repairs were complete. All 16 ships now hummed with power, their quantum cores glowing with renewed energy. The crisis that had brought humans and aliens together was finally over. In the grand meeting chamber of the Stellar Voyager, the human crew gathered with the Tal'Uri leadership. The room, now properly lit for the first time since the humans' arrival, revealed intricate patterns carved into the walls, the history of the Tal'Uri people told in flowing symbols. Captain Morgan. Ilum began, standing tall before the assembled group. You and your team have accomplished what we believed impossible. Our fleet is restored, and our people will survive. Lisa smiled, looking at her team with pride. We're glad we could help. Before you return to Earth, there is the matter of payment. Elam continued. We wish to offer your world knowledge that might benefit humanity. The Tal'Uri commander gestured, and another alien stepped forward carrying what looked like a crystalline data storage device. This contains technological information on clean energy production, advanced materials, and medical techniques, knowledge that might advance your civilization by several decades. The humans exchanged surprised looks. Such technology transfer could transform life on Earth. Lisa stepped forward to accept the gift, but then paused. Your generosity is appreciated, First Navigator, but I'd like to suggest something different. Elam tilted his head, curious. What do you propose? Instead of just technology, what if we established a lasting connection between our worlds? An alliance between Tal'Uri and humans. The alien commander considered this. You would want ongoing contact with refugees. We have no home to offer as a diplomatic base, no significant resources to share. You have knowledge, experience, and a perspective unlike our own, Lisa replied. And we have shown we can help each other. That seems like the foundation for friendship to me. Elam conferred briefly with the other Tal'Uri leaders before responding. Your proposal is unexpected but welcome. There is something we could offer beyond technology. The commander activated a holographic display showing a map of nearby star systems. A network of lines connected various points, forming a complex web. This is the Hidden Network, a coalition of peaceful species who maintain secret routes and safe harbors throughout this sector of the galaxy. As refugees, we were granted access to find a new home. We could provide Earth with coordinates to join this network. The implications were enormous. Earth would not be alone in the cosmos, but connected to an existing community of spacefaring civilizations. We accept, Lisa said without hesitation. The formal farewell ceremony took place the next day. The human crew prepared to return to the Horizon for their journey home. They had already transferred the coordinates and initial contact protocols for the hidden network to their ship's computers. As Lisa said goodbye to Elam, the Tal'Uri commander presented her with a small metallic emblem. This marks you as a friend of the Tal'Uri people. Should our paths cross again, show this, and you will be welcomed as family. Where will you go now? Lisa asked. The coordinates we've received point to a system with an uninhabited world suitable for our biology. It is a long journey, but thanks to you, we will reach it safely. As the human crew boarded their ship, Raj paused at the airlock. You know what's funny? We came here thinking we'd teach them how to fix their technology, but I think they taught us something more important. What's that? Marcus asked. That sometimes being advanced isn't about having the most sophisticated technology. It's about being willing to try new approaches when the old ones fail. The Horizon detached from the Tal'Uri flagship, its engines glowing as it prepared for the journey back to Earth. From the command deck, Lisa watched as the alien fleet began to move, their massive ships turning gracefully toward their new destination. Sending final transmission to Earth, Alex announced, letting them know we're coming home, and that we're bringing an invitation to join the stars. As the Horizon accelerated toward the inner solar system, Lisa took one last look at the Tal'Uri ships, now shining brightly against the darkness of space. You know, she said quietly, On Earth, we often take our adaptability for granted. We never realized it might be our most valuable quality in the eyes of the universe. The Talari fleet winked into faster-than-light travel, disappearing in flashes of light. Soon, the horizon would follow its own path home, carrying news that would forever change humanity's place among the stars. Earth was no longer alone, and it had earned its place at the cosmic table not through conquest or technology, but through the simple willingness to help strangers in need.